Hello, I'm David Marler from Rotterdam University of Applied Sciences, and today we're going to be talking about adjective phrases. So the goal of this mini lecture is that you'll be able to analyze, label, and parse adjective phrases, and most importantly, you're going to know what the terms pre-modifier, head, and post-modifier mean when we talk about adjective phrases. So we're going to start off with one sentence, and that sentence is, she's an extremely intelligent girl. What I want you to do right now is I want you to pause the video, write down the sentence in a notebook, and I want you to analyze and work it down to the phrase levels. That's really only 2 levels from the sentence. You're going to start off with subject, predicator, etc., and you're then going to tell us about the different types of phrases in that sentence. So pause the video now. If we look at the sentence, she's an extremely intelligent girl, we are going to place it into 3 different categories. And of course, you're going to see that we have a subject, which is she, a predicator, is, and we have a subject attribute, an extremely intelligent girl. And that's, of course, because is a copula verb. If we then go down one more level, we're going to see that she is a noun phrase, is a verb phrase, and an extremely intelligent girl is a noun phrase, which of course means that I played a trick on you because there are no adjective phrases when we look at it at the first 2 levels. But that's not necessarily the case, because if we look and we analyze and actually parse the noun phrase, we're going to see that she is an extremely intelligent girl is going to be the extremely intelligent girl is going to have girl as being the head. The pre-modifier is an adjective phrase, extremely intelligent, and we have the determiner, which is an indefinite article. So let's look then at extremely intelligent. So now we're going to go down 1 level extra, and we're going to look at that adjective phrase, extremely intelligent. So if you have any questions about noun phrases, then you can, of course, look at one of the previous videos. So extremely intelligent. Here we have 2 words, and as one working with heads and pre-modifiers and post-modifiers with noun phrases, we need to see what is the most important word. And of course, the most important word in an adjective phrase is always going to be an adjective. And since this phrase only has 1 adjective, it is of course going to be the word intelligent. But if we think about it logically, we can also say she's an extremely intelligent girl, she's an intelligent girl. Extremely just tells us how intelligent she is. So here we have the pre-modifier is going to be an adverb phrase, extremely, and the head is going to be intelligent. And then, of course, if we were to take that adverb phrase and work it, we'd say that the adverb phrase is realized by an adverb as its head. So let's look at some other sentences to see that it isn't always this simple. So let's look at the following sentence, which is, I'm afraid she's too intelligent. I want you to pause the video right now. And now I want you to do the same thing that we did in the first video, which is just work down the first 2 levels. That's analyze and parse the adjective phrase. Pause now. Okay, if we look at the adjective phrase right here, we can see that I am, and then of course, afraid that she's too intelligent. We can see right there that we have a subject, which is I, am, which is the predicator, and we have afraid that she's too intelligent, and that is going to be a subject attribute. If we look at it here, we see I am, noun phrase, and am is of course the verb phrase, and that is realized by afraid that she's too intelligent, which is an adjective phrase, because the sentence is I am afraid. Now, if we look here further, we are of course going to do the same thing that we did in the previous slide, which is now we're going to work it a little bit further. We're going to analyze the entire adjective phrase. So as you can see right here in orange, I have the word afraid, which of course is the head. And then the rest, I'm afraid she's too intelligent. That she's too intelligent is then a post modifier, which is a finite clause. Once again, you can look at the other videos on finite, non-finite clauses. It's finite because we conjugate the verb is. So I can also say, I'm afraid that she was too intelligent. We can also change the tense but it's also going to be a verb. For instance, I'm afraid that we are too intelligent. So because we can make that and she's too intelligent is actually a sentence on its own, we know that this is a finite clause. We can also look at other different types of clauses. So let's look at the following sentence, which is, I'm afraid to eat that. So I want you to do the same thing now that we've done in the previous videos, and I want you to pause, write down the sentence, and I want you to analyze and parse it. You can pause it now. Okay, if we look at the following sentence, I am afraid to eat that, it's the same situation that we had in the last one, which means that we have I as the subject, am as the predicator, and afraid to eat that is a subject attribute. Of course, once again, because the verb am is a copula verb. We then have a noun phrase, a verb phrase, and just like the previous sentence, we have an adjective phrase. Now, also like the previous sentence, we have the head is an adjective, and it is realized by a post modifier, which is a non-finite clause. In this case, it's a to clause because, of course, we're using the word to. So I am afraid to eat that. Afraid is the head. And the post modifier is a non-finite clause. And once again, the difference between a finite and a non-finite clause is a finite clause has a subject and it has conjugation, so the verb can change, whereas this one right here does not have a subject. It's just the verb and, of course, the object of that verb, so eat that. So we're going to practice with a few more sentences that you can see how these adjective phrases work, and in these following sentences you're going to find the head and the pre and post modifiers, and you're going to tell us what type of phrases they are. So we're going to look here at the following sentences. She is good enough. He is great at swimming, but they are extremely great at swimming. As you can see right here, I've done half of the work for you, which is I have made the adjective phrases bold, so you don't have to think about that. But what you're going to think about right now is within these adjective phrases, what type of pre-modifiers, post-modifiers, and of course what the head of the adjective phrase is. So pause this video right now and make sure that you write down these 3 sentences and work it out. Once you're finished, you can hit play and I will describe and give you the answers. You can pause it now. Okay, if we look at the first sentence here, once again we have she is good enough, and we can say that the sentence is of course going to be subject, predicator, and then adjective phrase, and we know that it's a noun phrase, a verb phrase. Sorry, subject, predicator, and subject attribute. Of course, we have a noun phrase, a verb phrase, and an adjective phrase. If we look at this adjective phrase, we can see that the head is going to be an adjective, which is good, and that the post modifier is going to be an adverb phrase, and that's because the word enough here is an adverb. If we look at the next sentence, he is great at swimming. Very similar, we have the head here of this sentence is going to be an adjective, and the post modifier of this sentence is going to be a prepositional phrase, and that's because the word at is a preposition, so that is the head, and then its complement is of course going to be swimming. And finally, we have the third sentence, which is, but they are extremely good at swimming, and here we have a pre-modifier and a post-modifier. So once again, we can see that the word head, or the head, is going to be the word good. We have the pre-modifier is going to be an adverb phrase, and the post-modifier is going to be a prepositional phrase. So in this case right here, this one adjective phrase, extremely good at swimming, has both a pre-modifier and a post-modifier. Now you can find in the book and also in your homework other sentences that you can do this, and you can also find the answers online, or you can get them from your teacher. I hope that this has helped you with better understanding the adjective phrase. Thank you.